If you think finding that girl is going to get you out of this, you are in for a big surprise. I haven't forgotten where I found you, and I won't forget to tell Elder Arena. Vlados nods to the Elder as she squeezes her way back out of the new girl's room, making sure to stifle his smile at Lucia's wide-eyed surprise. Vlados, Lucia. Arena nods back at the pair, then settles herself heavily into a chair. Lucia, be a dear and sit with our new guest. She's still very weak, and I think I tired her out a bit with our conversation. If she needs anything, get it for her. But, Elder, I need to tell you about Lucia. Arena looks at her, the yellowed eyes and the sunken folds of her flesh boring into her, the smile gone from her sallow face. Yes, Elder. Lucia bows her head and hurries into the room, closing the door behind her. So, was I right? Arena looks at Vlados, and her smile returns. You were indeed, young one. That girl is something special, and she seems to have no idea of it herself. We spoke for nearly an hour before the effects wore off. I cast the spell again myself then, and it behaved just as you said. But how? I think the answer lies in her heritage. Like I said, we had to talk for a long while I waited for your spell to end, so I learned a good bit about our young Eowyn. Her mother was an elf, which is obvious looking at her, but her father's side is the one that interests me. She says that he, as a human, was allowed into Kionin because he is supposedly descended from some great folk hero of theirs, who herself was the direct offspring of a celestial being. The girl, she's a Nephilim, an Asimir. No, but this ancestor apparently was. And I think her blood is close to showing itself again. You saw her. Even for a half-elf, she's almost impossibly beautiful, once the grime and blood was washed off. There's an order of Celestials called the Azata that are known for their incredible beauty and for their ability to connect and communicate easily with other races. So, that's why casting comprehend languages on her acts like tongues instead. Yes, I believe so. It's a rather unique and powerful gift. The elves must not have known she had it, or they'd never have driven her out. We're lucky that scroll you stole pointed you to her, aren't we? Yes, we really... Vlados stops dead, realizing what he just confessed to. Arena drops her smile. We'll speak of this more later, but for now, know that the benefits to the colony seem to outweigh the loss of that item, so your punishment most likely won't be as severe as it would be otherwise. Did you learn anything else besides about the girl? Vlados thinks to the strange, dangerous book now hidden away under the floor of his room, and the horrible little man who gave it to him, and shakes his head. No, Elder, nothing else. Nothing at all. This is Pot Against the Machine.
Pot Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that waits to open our bulging puckers until after you've surrounded our pillar of decaying flesh. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
Not our pillar of decaying flesh.
Oof, my bulging pucker. Hey.
Hi.
You know, I rarely just let you get away with saying that we're the only podcast that does something, but I am thoroughly convinced that that is solely our namesake.
We've carved out a few niches. One of them is viscosity, and the other is bulging pucker, decaying flesh column.
Yeah, I mean, immediate regret on staking our claim to the decaying flesh columns full of bulging puckers. But what are you going to do?
I mean, now we just got to lean into it, and it's going to be on our merch.
That's true.
Beautiful.
Well, let's see. What happened last week? Last week, we joined our heroes in the midst of the fight with the ship mind. And it went well. Everybody was doing super great. I think that Levi was knocked to staggered and then did one final chomp, and in doing so knocked himself out. Kira was knocked out from intelligence damage, and Tarazi, while breaking out from inside the tank of the ship mine, managed to escape only to also be knocked out by intelligence damage, leaving only Brixby, Alwyn, and Asuma conscious. So at least the ship mind itself was out of its bubble by then and vulnerable to attacks, at which point the gunslinging Kasathan managed to finish it off. Then everybody was just chill after that. They had to use up all of Alwyn's ability slot healing and more in order to just regain consciousness and mental faculties. After that, everybody was like, oh, well, let's do some more. They recovered the treasure that the ship mine had pointed out and then made their way to the last remaining sets of membrane doorway analogs. In the decaying creature, popped it open, found a decaying tower of flesh, which once they came into the room, it burst forth as rock grub swarms. And everybody was like, you know what? No. And the party left. They teleported away back to Pater's camp, which, who can blame them after something like that? So that's where we are now at Pater's Orchard.
We haven't slept yet, right? We're just chilling.
Right. It's probably still kind of early in the day.
Fair.
Yeah. Alwyn is very close to being out of spells, and I think, honestly, the second we get here, he would heal everybody else back up to full, which would use up just about the rest of what he has. Other than a few sorcerer spells that don't do much.
What's annoying is I have, 3/4 of... somewhere in that zone of my spells left. But, yeah, I would have been useless in that rock grub fight because I had no AoE left. That was specifically the spells that I was missing. And, I mean, that also makes it a little bit easier to know what to potentially prepare for tomorrow.
I mean, unless we're thinking somewhere in that room, maybe in the flesh column itself, is a neurocam. I feel pretty good about not going back to the old decaying corpse.
See, I was under the impression that wherever they left was, just on the other side of the corpse. I thought it was literally, water, dead mass, and then IDK, the cave right behind it.
No, the cave wall is not immediately behind the
Okay.
big rotting thing. There's definitely some space between. But, I mean, you have to pass the creature again to get where you're going, but the back of the cave is... But you got a good half-mile hike to the actual back of the canyon there.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, as far as the rock grubs, I'm kind of the mindset to, if we do anything with them, to have it be basically similar to how it was when we fought those blood aspic things, where we went back 3 levels later and we were done with everything and just wiped the floor with them.
I agree.
And collected the loot long, rather than getting into a fight with them when we know we have other stuff we're going to have to fight, and we're pretty sure their room doesn't have anything in it important to us story-wise.
It would be funny if that was the room with the orange.
I was just going to watch that be the
100%.
room.
Yeah, we fight through the entire cave, and they go, "Where's the neurocam? Didn't you find it? It was in that room."
But, no, that's a good point. It would be nice to victory lap the rock grubs.
Did we ever sell Or is it buried with Asher and the Swarmbane class? Because if not, Asuma should borrow that.
I don't think we sold it.
I know we didn't sell it. I don't know if we left it with him or not.
Now, that might have gone in the Asher retirement pile.
Yeah.
As in the pile of things
I know-
that we agreed to give away, or in the retiring it with Asher?
Or latter.
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we wouldn't have sold that because that's a good item. But we very well might have left it with Asher.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, this is real. Like the way I imagine the way that we handled Asher's body was probably the most respectful, like that we could possibly muster in the circumstances. So yeah, I think that's a fair like role playing assumption that like
Yeah, and especially like something like that that's like a piece of, like I imagine it being like you're burying like a military person with like their regalia on type thing. Like
It could be useful, though, to buy. 'Cause now, at our level, it's not as expensive.
depending on what type of item it counts as, Alwyn could also make it for half price as long as it counts as magical equipment and not like I don't think because it's only a ring that counts as rings. So I could make that for half price too. I think we should maybe rest up before tackling this second cave that the ship mine told us about. I'm not sure about everyone else, but I've had to use up a lot of my healing in order to help us after these last couple fights. So I won't be very useful if we have to get into any more today.
I didn't use up any healing. But, no, if you need to rest, you and Brixby, take an easy day here on the farm.
I'll help with the compost.
Wear gloves.
actually, Big Stuff, you're onto something. I've just taken, at least, from everywhere. I mean, I guess we gave them the reign of Clarence. Everything else that occurred inside of these areas that we've touched, I mean, I guess we've taken down the choking tower, but I just don't feel like I've left a lot behind that means something. So actually, Peter, if I could help you out today with Big Stuff, that would be great. Could really use some time in a garden.
Oh, perfect. There's always plenty to do. Grab a stick and we can get digging. We can make a new bed. We can make a brand new bed right now.
With a stick?
Well, you use the stick to kind of break things up. We can use it to cut weeds loose. We can churn the soil. We can do all sorts of things with a stick.
Okay. I only ask because I have a chainsaw that can do a lot of things a stick can. Louder.
He stares at Kira blankly for several seconds, like blinking more than is necessary, and then goes, "That seems like a pretty good stick."
It's what I like to call him.
I'd be very interested in helping. Back in the colony, everybody grew their own food and everything, but I was never allowed to help, so I think it would be fun.
Why weren't you allowed to help?
They said I was too important.
Let's discuss that as we garden.
It's gonna be a sweet montage.
Trying to think what that would be set to. What 80s montage music.
I always assume it's girls just want to have fun.
I would go even older and do Octopus's Garden just to keep it on theme.
Yeah.
Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. While we're doing this.
Never mind. That's the one.
We're like having a dirt fight, and it's really cool. But like, it's a casual, cool dirt fight.
Casual, cool dirt fight. You know that very well-known kind of dirt fight.
Drop that in the episode titles.
So I think Pater will absolutely delight in the company and the help, and you all spend some time, like, building a new bed, doing some weeding, cleaning things up.
Knowledge nature, natural 19 for a 24. So helpful.
Oh, dang. So Tarazi's bringing some expertise.
I think he surprises himself.
Yeah, and I imagine, like, we would probably help him till, like, sundown, because, like, we need to rest to get our spells back, but otherwise we're physically healthy, and it's, like, midday.
Cleary?
Kira's just throwing handfuls of compost in the air and, like, swinging through them with the chainsaw. I think that's how you mix compost, right?
Yeah, it's
Eric's is just sitting in a chaise lounge, like, fanning himself with the one tied to his tail where the tail blade goes as Leary does all of his...
Oh, I mean, I could potentially use Mage's Lucubration to recast Unseen Servant to also fan me. I think while we're starting to break things down, Brixby will look at Kira for a second and then look across at Al. Be like, too important to garden, eh? You know, you haven't really mentioned. I mean, I don't want to pry, and but you know, since we're here, and what was the colony like, and what was your role there?
Are you a prince?
Are you Prince himself?
Yeah, he is secretly Prince Roger Nelson. This entire time I've been playing that one Battle Zoo Ancestry that just lets you isekai yourself from... No, and I think he'd say, no, I wasn't a prince. My mothers were just regular people, but when I was born, well, everyone said I was special because of how I look, and they said that I'm connected to the gods, so I was important. I talked about when we first met that most of my time they just put me in a big chair in front of everyone, and I would sit there and do nothing while everybody else did everything. And it was a little lonely, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And Mother Lucia always made sure to let me know that just because everyone else thought I was important, that didn't mean I was better than everyone. And I think that's good, because we've met some people while we've been adventuring that I think are not... Well, I don't think they were raised as well as Mother Lucia raised me, because some of them have had some serious ego problems, and it's not good. Like that awful wizard who thought he was so smart and great. I think that's the kind of person that some of the other people in the colony thought I was, but I wasn't. I'm just me.
And are you connected to the gods?
I don't know. Well, back to the wizard again, actually. When I was hurt in the tower, when I guess I died, I saw something very strange that was clearly a message from my god, but I don't know if that's something special to me or just something that would happen to anyone who's one of his worshippers.
What did you see?
Well, first, everything was all black, like there was nothing. And then there were... And his eyes kind of drift off, though that's kind of hard to tell with the way his eyes look, but... and he goes... Was... circles, and then the circles became bubbles. was strange, and then anytime I thought about something, I could see it. I even... And he stops for a second, then starts again. I thought about my parents, and I saw when I was born, but it wasn't from the point of view of anyone there, so maybe that's something special. But I saw other things too from well before I would have been around. Anytime I thought about something, I could see it. It was like all of time and space was kind of one thing. Then I heard Brother Dervish calling me, and I heard all of you, and I came back.
Well, we're glad you're here.
We are. And I want you to know that if you don't think you're smart or you've had it all figured out and you're just you, I want you to know that just you, to me, to us, is incredible. You are powerful, knowledgeable, and impressive. And I am proud to call you my friend.
He would just, smile real big at that.
My mother, in her pink mists, would see the gods and hear the truths. And it's a lonely path she walked. I'm not sure who put her there, but I always tried to make it a little easier, and I'm here for you in the same way we all are.
Was your mother very nice?
She was nice, but she always had more to consider than just a man and her sons. She was given a vision. She was given vision that can beyond my understanding, and suffice to say, half a mile down under the ground, in my colony, did not earn her a place of reverence. She is reminded every day both the burden that others saw her as and the burden of the truth that she knew and was apparently too afraid or too protective to share with me or Bricks or anybody else. But yes, she was good. She's good.
Glad to hear that. And I'm sorry that your life there and hers was as hard as it was, but if it makes you feel better, it seems like it caused you to be a very good person. And from what you told us about your brother, he sounds like he was a very good person too.
Thank you, he was. And yeah, you're wrong, and I never say this to you, but you're wrong. You're patently wrong. It didn't make me a good person. Crispy reaches into his bag, and it's like in the least menacing way, because I know what this item is, but just leave this to me. He pulls the gun out, and he puts it down, and he puts it down like he would be setting down an old tiny dog or a cat, delicately, with reverence and respect that it itself could just kind of break. No, my life didn't make me good. My life made me hard and mean. My life made me choose my truths, my search for truth, my quest for answers over the literal lives of people I knew. But no, this group, all of them, and Asher, and he opens his spellbook and points to the scribbly ancient Assyriani, and Vargas, they made me good. Keep me good. And make me want to do good. Like this hard work I'm doing right now. He takes the hoe from Cleary's hands, realizing it's really not reinforcing that he has learned his lesson as he makes his unseen servant do all that work, and starts to erratically hoe, maybe perpendicular to how we've been doing it.
Just screwing everything up.
I think as we're wrapping up this conversation, Kira's like watching this back and forth with that exact face that I was just making, which for listeners at home is "aww." If it was an expression, and says, "Brix, I don't think you're hard and mean. I think you're my best friend. Ever since, well, I've seen a lot of really bad things since we started this trip, but you're still here, and that's important. Here, have another sticker," and it just says, "Best fighter."
Like literally crying. This wasn't even supposed to be a crying app. We scheduled those in advance.
I love it. I love a surprise crying app.
Thank you. Big stuff. And I intend to stay here beside you, and looks across at Tarazi and Levi, beside you, and then looks at Allowen and his sorry faraway eyes, and you, all the way to the end. All the way until we've figured this out. And also, Asuma, you're very important as well.
Oh my god, yeah, Asuma, we like you too.
But, we're certainly not bitter about you getting the kill shot or anything. So,
I can just abstain next time, so
Don't do that.
I'll let you get the kill shots next time.
no, yeah, I mean, like, you're in, like, the pledge, like, we're trying to patch you into our gang right now. So, like, it's cool that you're getting those kills.
No, it's cool. Everybody ostracized the alien. I get it.
No, I just felt bad because I looked at all the tokens on the screen and then I saw so much just off in the
Standing in the
and all of this is assumedly in common too.
I was going to
which
say,
like
and
makes it like we're
completely excluded her.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so she can't even understand what we're saying.
Yeah, Tarazi would just say it in Androphan. I personally am quite glad you got the kill shot. I was in a coma at the time, and it could have gone even worse. So, thumbs up.
oh yeah, like a huge thumbs up. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't have killed that thing. Like
Yeah.
She'll do 4 thumbs up back.
It's a lot of thumbs.
So many thumbs.
Drops all these guns to the ground.
Yeah, they'll start going off, actually. It's a bad situation. The rocket launcher takes out a chunk of the cliff.
That makes for great compost. I might not understand how compost works. What is compost? It's just ground up earth, right?
It's
Just
decaying
real-
organic matter.
Well, what's more decaying than after a rocket launcher hits it?
I think as the day goes on and everybody's been working and having these heart-to-hearts and catharsis, at some point, Pater is going to ask if someone can just head into his cave to get some packets of seeds that he has stored there for the new bed.
Is the neurocam in the cave?
We're allowed in the cave?
In the cave are the seeds. He's letting somebody go in if anybody wants to.
It's totally in the cave.
Can we all go in?
I like the idea that it's like only when the players have an emotional experience in front of Pater does he reveal.
You've passed my test.
I didn't
Big
know
stuff.
what Lord
This has to
Julius
be.
was. Sorry.
I mean, if there's anybody that should be able to walk in and look at what his bed looks like, it should be you.
Thank you, I agree. She takes off running. Does he have a bed?
Oh, he absolutely has a race car bed.
So cool.
But it's like made out of like sticks and straw and stuff.
So
So, like,
get in
it-
there anyway.
his cave is sunk like the cave opening is fairly narrow, and then it narrows still, and then it widens up into a decent sized chamber where he has like his very simple race car bed on one side and like a little storage of like some food that he has set aside for himself, and it looks like he has like a box with a little packets of seed that he's labeled in almost incomprehensible handwriting. And then all over the walls in this cave, painted, there are like elaborate paintings or drawings in charcoal, chalk, and looks like paints made from like vegetable dyes, depicting a great many-armed like dark blob dragging a person with two faces, one that looks like a young woman and one that looks like an old man, like down into the ground. And then there's tendrils of black and green that run under the ground, like all along the bottom level of this cave, like all over the walls, leaching up into bent and twisted trees that he's drawn everywhere. And then like periodically throughout the spaces are depictions of this grinning, eyeless humanoid creature with long, thin, sharp tendrils that like is like looming over the scenes, but it's repeated over and over again, like slightly different each time, but each one has been kind of scribbled out with white chalk.
Oh no.
So perfectly normal walls.
Yeah, just a normal place.
A little bachelor pad, you know.
He's not getting that deposit back. Kira's gonna grab the seeds and get out of Dodge. This is weird. Well, okay, no, she's gonna make a quick just search around the cave. Does she see anything fun?
Well, on the back side of the cave, behind the kind of stone pillar that separates it almost into two chambers, there is like a small personal-looking altar fashioned from large, beautiful sets of geodes that have been partially embedded into the wall. You could make a knowledge, religion, or nature to identify the altar.
Could I?
You could.
Could I actually do that, even though I don't have either one of those things?
No, if you don't have any ranks, then no.
Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I have no knowledges. How about swim?
Knowledge swim, yes.
Yeah, no, I've got local and arcana.
Do you have any background skill ranks in like any kind of like artistry thing that you could maybe look at the wall stuff with?
I've got craft blacksmith.
Because that feels like something Kira might have. Oh, just blacksmith. Okay.
Ah, I should have taken craft arts and crafts.
I didn't know if you had like some kind of other weird craft, like a craft paint or something.
Craft Joanne's. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's why I thought it might have been something Kira might have had.
Well, then I'm just going to take in as much as I can of this cave and go tell my smarter friends about it. Even though I'm back up to 7 on my knowledge score. Smart intelligence is what I mean to say.
Kira's probably feeling very smart now compared to earlier.
Oh, yeah. Oh, also she grabs the seeds.
If you came back out and didn't have the seeds after being in there for like 10 minutes.
Hey everyone, I visited the cave and it's very normal. I want to talk to you about it in a small huddle over here.
Okie dokie.
I lied, it's not that normal. It's weird. There's some... He has like a shrine in there. I didn't know anything about it, but I can describe it to you and see if any of you know a thing about it. How can I zoom in? There we go.
You said religion or nature?
Yeah.
Natural 1
Nice.
for a 6 nature.
Well, I don't think that's enough to get it off of Kira's secondhand description.
I have a 16 for a 32 religion.
That's a little bit better.
And I had an 18 for a 27 religion.
So I think even with the secondhand nature of the description of the shrine, Alwyn and Brixby are able to put together that this probably was a shrine to Gozra, but it appears to have fallen into disrepair or is no longer active as an actual altar.
So the man and woman face would have been Gozra, but what about the grinning figure covered in tentacles? Did that sound like Gozra? That doesn't sound like Gozra to me.
That definitely doesn't sound like Gozra.
And it wasn't just a
Kira would
man and
also
woman,
describe
right?
what she saw all over the walls.
Yeah.
It's like an old man and a young woman.
Yeah, old man, young woman, because that's Gozra, isn't it? Because the young see and then the old, yeah.
Had a man out.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of figured that's what that one was. I was more kind of rolling for the other horrible.
Well, I didn't know if it was like Pater and his daughter were taken, and he's the old man, and
Oh,
something.
yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, is there anything else we can garner with our 32 and 27 religion rolls about any of the other stuff? Do you want a separate roll for that, or do you feel like the rest of that stuff is just creepy and kind of outside of our purview?
I mean, I think you can be pretty confident that the painting of the figure that's being attacked by the darkness that's polluting the land, like that appears to be Gozra or symbolic of Gozra as well. But the grinning, eyeless creature doesn't strike you as any particular religious symbolism. It's hard to say based on descriptions of drawings
Yeah.
what that would even represent.
And we can't, there's no like knowledge creepy, knowledge guy that's creepy.
Knowledge creepypasta.
Yes, lore SCP.
Slenderman.
It could be a Slenderman.
I like the idea of that being in like Bestiary 7 or something. Just a Slenderman.
Well, there is, I don't,
Is there a Slenderman in like 1 through
I'm not
6?
going to spoil what it's in, but there is another podcast that did one of the new TUI, a newer TUI thing, and one of the earlier like mini boss enemies appears to be very heavily based on Slenderman.
I like that we're saying Slenderman instead of Slender Man.
It's funnier when you say it like a surname.
Yeah, no, John Slenderman. Yeah, I always say it like I'm saying somebody's name, yes.
John Slenderman, or Hatman, as it were, Peanutman.
Yeah, that's what started it for me. It's become part of my normal parlance. So we hug it out, and then we go to sleep, and then do a cave.
Yes, let's hug.
Yeah, let's hug, but we probably don't want to, like, when we're in the hug, we're like, we probably don't want to be like, Peter, what's up with your interior design, right? Because that'd be like really presumptive and very rude, probably.
I kind of want to be rude. Is that rude? That's probably
Is it rude compared to laying in his bed?
fair. Seal has been broken.
I think, if you don't mind, before we go to bed, I might want to ask Peter something about that. It'll have nothing to do with the drawings, but it has to do with this, and we can all do it together. If folks don't mind, just a little bit more talking before we sleep. Peter?
Yeah. And he's like sitting on the ground with his packets of seeds, kind of rearranging them. What could I do for you?
Peter, I don't mean to be pushy, but with all of the death that we've run into here, we've had some pretty deep conversations today. I feel like this work here, this place that you cultivate, is important. What we did today was important. I mean, what we do often is important, but I don't want to speak for my colleagues. But today filled the proverbial cup. Far more than the murder and the loot and the everything else. What can we do to help you achieve your ends here? Truly.
Well, he sort of looks down and his voice kind of drops a little bit, and he says, I've been trying to think, trying to fix it in my mind, but it's been slippery. I came here to do this. There was a time before I was here, and I cannot, but 6, 7, 8 years ago, I came here, and I was strong, and I came to help this place. It called to me. The taint of the land was so deep and so strong, and he kind of trails off, and he's like staring at Brixby, but like kind of just like staring through him. And his eyes are like all glassy and watery. He says, I want to fix this place. This place was poisoned before they came, the butchers. I was here before they came. They came in their great green whale from all the hills all at once. And they came down and they made it so much worse. They undid everything I ever did and more. I was foolish and young and proud, and I went and looked to see what they were. And he puts both hands like up on his forehead, and he mimes like pulling his head open slowly, like with his hands. And his eyes kind of drift over to the cave, and he says, I want them out. Even before what they did to me, before they could have killed me. It was the Flayer that saved me. Saved me. She came to see, same as me, but she wanted a toy. She wanted my brain in my head so I could feel the hooks and the blades. She's still in there with them, the Flayer. She likes them. They give her toys. She let me go when I was spent and they didn't want me anymore. She had her fun. We need them out of this place, that the work may resume in earnest, that the land can heal.
This woman, this Flayer, I don't think you've talked about her before, has he? Has he mentioned this person before?
He did say that one of the butchers before, I believe he just said that one of the butchers was different, was like a creature of darkness. I don't know that he gave you any details other than that, but that was the one who unmade him.
Peter, we will. We will. I promise on all the stars that every breath I take, that I will not leave this place, this scar, until they are gone. Every last one.
I agree with Brixby. These awful creatures, we were told about them in our stories. They are the enemies of the gods. They're awful. And the things that we've seen them do in the few days we've been here are just as bad, if not worse, than anything I was ever told. We will absolutely work to help you get them out of this place.
And he kind of shudders, and he's been drawing on the ground, like with his stick. He's been drawing kind of like the outline of a body, just like a generic, detail-free humanoid kind of body. And he kind of scribbles on one part, like around the chest. And he says that they're like an infection. They have found this place where the body was weak. The whole body, this whole land is weak and infected, and they came, and they rip it open, and they are the acute infection, not the old disease, but the problem is both. I came here for one. They brought the other. And he'll push himself up kind of away from his drawing and hobble over to all of you and say, I believe you that you all fight against these things. I do not wish to make your burden greater than it is. Know that I do appreciate your efforts and would that I could help you in any meaningful way. What you do is righteous. What you fight for is righteous. Know that.
What you do is righteous. And he grabs his hands. What you fight for, here, what you fought for, that is truly righteous, and that is why we are joining you. I can't undo what they've done to you, all this land, but I can get them the hells out of your way. And I know that this is just the start for you. They won't call this a scar when you're done. Okay, like we really need to make some jokes about goop or whatever, because it's really getting in there. The dust is in the eyes.
Nope, sat up.
No, we committed to the sat-up. It's a sat-up.
We're going to sit in
We
it.
tricked you all. I know, it's great too, because like they can normally tell when it's going to be a sat-up. They're like, oh,
Like someone has just died.
Right, and they're all going to do this in a moment.
We
but
got ya.
Nope.
You thought it was going to be a fun gardening episode.
Oh, we got ourselves.
Okay, I've probably cried myself into dehydration, so I'm just going to fall asleep right here. No, I should probably do first watch anyhow.
Oh, you all are welcome to sleep inside tonight. It's going to rain.
Inside the cave?
Yes.
Ooh. I think I'll sleep just outside.
He'll chomp his way down. And I think he said this morning that it was going to rain, and it didn't all day long, but now there's definitely like a smell of ozone in the air, and it's dark, but there seem to be clouds, so it seems like it is going to rain.
I think respectfully, Tarazi and Levi will probably sleep in the ship, just so that there's somebody out here in case something...
Yeah, keeping watch. Yeah. Yeah, since we haven't been attacked here before. We never did find out where that weird shadow demon thing came from, did we?
The Buddha?
Because that so far has not been connected to anything else in this area. I'm just thinking about that now.
The Buddha?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any way to get that answer now. Besides detective work. You might be able to figure it out.
Oh, good thing my next level I'm taking that investigator deep. That's right, int of 8, investigator dip.
I hate to take advantage of his, I'm not getting into his bed. I hate to take advantage of his hospitality. Can I roll anything on the scary things that are on the wall now? Or is it still,
I would say it would be a very hard roll, but yeah, you could roll a knowledge planes.
Oh, no.
Oh, now that we see it at the plains, that's it. Oh, crap.
Yeah, I would say a very hard roll is not satisfied by a 14 off the die with a 28.
No, I don't think that's enough to do it.
That's fair.
I also got a 14 off the die, but mine's only for a 24.
Yeah, I think it would be very hard to identify just based on Peter's crude drawings.
Yeah, and Plains is definitely kind of down there on some of my knowledges. It's not my highest one by any means.
But it's a super pleasant place to sleep.
We rolled nature on the weird rock stuck in the wall. Was that what that one was? Was that nature?
Yeah, that was the altar to Gozra.
Oh, is that all that is? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if that was something.
He made it himself out of some geodes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think maybe then, before we go to bed, I'd like to compliment that altar. Peter, this is really nice.
Oh, I don't really go back here anymore.
I know you're not asking, but maybe you shouldn't. The way that you tend the ground, the soil outside, you turn the poison and the hurt into growth, into life. You have that potential inside of you, and you do it over and over. They, Gozra, and for me, the spheres, they do the same. They have a way to turn our sadness, our misery, and our poison into anew. You do so much for all around you. Lean on them a while. Sure they won't mind.
And he gives kind of a rueful smile, and he just says, if the spheres just do that for you, and I envy you. It's been quite some time since, well, the old ways don't always work forever.
Until they do again. And we're gonna make them work. We are. Keeps like that very intense eye contact all the way until he falls asleep.
They just fall asleep holding hands and staring at each other. Totally not weird.
Let's start over. I can't even remember his name so fast.
Oh, Hirsak.
Oh no, this is an 11 stare. He's staring at him like he, like Patrick Bateman staring at him. Like Sam Jackson and Black Snake Moan stare.
Oh my god.
Well, I think you go to sleep for the night. The rain kicks on. A few hours later, it's a pretty heavy rain that's a little bit cold, and it goes on most of the night. I won't make you roll for watches just because we just did the random encounter last night, so we'll skip it tonight. And morning comes the next day.
You know I gotta hit them connections.
Of course.
Oh.
Purple first.
I just rolled a 3, which unfortunately is not enough on day 3. So it has produced a foul-smelling paste. This is going to be incredibly difficult, folks, because it is 6 successive rolls where I have to hit a 4, a 6, an 8, a 10, and a 12 minimum. Wait, and a 14. Because that's the amount of numbers there are. 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. Yeah. Yep.
We need to get like a wand of bit of luck or something.
Yeah, no, it's a rough one for sure. But I mean, whatever. It is so rare. They usually give you like a one-time consumable item that gives you a +1 to one person in your party. And that's it. That's, like, I don't know if other people have had other experiences, but that's what I've run into a lot in like late game PF. It's rare that it's like, this could give everyone in your party a +1 theoretically, if you roll well enough.
But really, it's a trick to drive you mad.
Yeah.
It certainly works.
Honestly, you really only need like a bricks. Like you need one person who's got a really good int score, because it doesn't matter who solves it, it matters who eats it, which is another interesting thing that, like, basically, once you do it, then you're even better at it because it goes up, and so it makes it easier for you to do it for the next person. So, like, even the characters, like, we have a 7 and 8 intelligence that wouldn't be able to pass at a certain point on their own, because I think even an at 20 isn't going to hit some of those higher rolls with that, but can still get it because you can roll, which, like you said, that's a really unique item. Like, you don't see that often.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I would love to have multiple cube smarts in the party when we're done.
That would double Levi's int. From
Oh,
1
yeah.
to a 2. Give him enough cube pace. I mean,
Oh, man.
The smartest snake in the world.
Does Levi have a 1 intelligence?
yep.
Yeah,
He's
'cause
just
he's an
a
animal.
big snake that knows some tricks,
Oh,
but is
but
otherwise.
it's intelligence score, though.
Yeah. No,
Okay, I was going to be
actual
real concerned that
intelligence.
your snake was smarter than Kira.
Yeah, the number intelligence is 1. Yeah.
I was going to be concerned.
Levi looks down on you from his reading glasses.
Smarter than Tarazi.
You should probably get him a headband.
Yep.
I mean, it can go on there. Didn't we already put a headband on him? We
He
put
has
something
an
on him.
amulet.
An amulet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forehead, neck, it's all just one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, use a headband of vast intelligence on the snake. Our wizard doesn't need this. Give it to the snake.
Well, that was gross. My connections were very gross this morning.
You got yellow first, didn't you?
Oh, and that was the day that we were in the corpse all day. That thing had to taste terrible.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, God.
That might have been why you failed.
The flavor of generations. It is like worse. It's like whatever like the 5 times maximum of a century egg could taste like is what that tastes like.
Century
Black eggs.
that are like steeped in soy sauce for a really long time.
It varies what it can be. I think it's usually ash. I think it has to be like a heavily basic environment for it to be, but then it like gelates into like this black nightmare of an egg that is. Anyway, I hope no one is eating. Unless you're eating century eggs, then really on brand and weirdly prescient.
You already know.
I read a thing a while back about a bunch of people getting sick because of like knockoff century eggs. Like they figured out you can put like some really dangerous chemical on them to increase the process to make them so that you can make them way faster. But it then horribly poisons the people who eat it.
Isn't the knockoff century egg just an old egg? Like, can you just not leave an egg for 100 years and be like,
It's a decade egg. I put it in the chat. You can see it in the chat.
thank you, is that?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we go into those caves, yeah?
Yes, we need at least a few more minutes of usable content.
Well, have fun. My voice kind of got a little bit weird there, which is weird, but have fun. Oh, by the way, those, whatever it is that you guys found that smells a bit like my mushrooms, those might come in handy if you want to hide from the butchers.
But like, so should we not do mushrooms right now? Because like that is a really good idea to be. I forgot that they like they conceal you from. I wonder if it's like what it is that I don't know. So
Yeah. I think it just makes you like smell like them, so it's
Anything of theirs that like operates on smell, like, won't be able to find you.
now those weird ones that we found, do we have to eat those like we did with the mushrooms, or do you use those in a different way?
Let me look them up. One moment.
Because we got like a dozen of them.
Yeah, I think basically you can squeeze out their the juice from their spongy their spongy sphericalness and just sort of rub that on your person.
Oh.
And, it'll stick.
This is going to be a very deep cut, but it's basically like the cockroach gland from the movie Mimic. Does anybody here know what I'm talking about? Has
Oh my
anyone seen that
gosh.
movie?
Yes. Oh, wow.
When they squeeze the stuff on themselves so that they can blend in.
My touchstone for it is Kingdom of Loathing, which they had a quest based on that where you had to just keep getting escalating levels of stinky bug glands and put the stuff on yourselves.
Ah, all right. Well, let's stink.
Get the
Feed.
cave in. Oh, stink first.
Was
Yeah,
this
we
a
wanna do
24-hour stink or an
is
8-hour
it like
stink?
Oh, it's a solid 24-hour stink.
Oh, let's
Nice.
get
Okay, I was going to say,
stanky.
like, do we want to wait until we're right in
Stink
front of the cave? Okay.
let's stink, gang.
You doing all 6 stinks? You doing a subset?
I think we probably should just do all 6 stinks because it's
Yeah.
like, what are we
Yeah,
gonna
we
do?
got 12, so that'd be 2 days worth if we each do one.
And it's not like anybody that's here is not going to be going in under any circumstances that aren't awful. So,
All right, everybody nice and stinky. Then you're marching your way back across the valley, heading for the caves beyond the decomposing dropship.
And assuming we don't hit any random counters on the way there, as we're getting within sight of the dropship itself, Alwyn would use the extend rod and cast delay poison communal. He'll wait till we're inside of the corpse.
Okay, well, once you're in sight of the corpse as you're coming to the source of the river, can I get a perception check from everybody but Alwyn?
ooh.
I'm assuming that's not anything mysterious, but because Sam knows by this point I have a -1 to perception.
Who's to say if that's it?
33. Rolled a 4 on the die.
Forgot Kira has infinity goggles.
Yeah.
I have a 30.
Natural 2 for 21.
Well, all 3 of you are very perceptive. So as you come back to the narrowing of the valley and you're heading towards the source of the river where the gigantic corpse sits coated in, the morning dew and the rain of last night, just slowly getting worse and worse, Tarazi, Kira, and Brixby all spot almost at the exact same time, standing across the water on the far edge of that pool in the shadow of the dead beast, is a figure that sort of looks from where you're standing like a skinless human child. Its exposed, bloodless musculature is faded to an unnatural, lifeless gray, while its glowing red eyes drift up and fix on yours. The creature's mouth opens slowly as if to scream, and then it turns and runs on all fours off towards the southwest.
Is that the direction the cave's in?
The caves would be more west. This is apparently heading somewhere south of them.
Oh, well, guess we got to go southwest.
Awesome, so we can ignore that.
Can we roll a knowledge on that experience?
Knowledge, nope.
Sure, you can roll a knowledge planes.
Dirty 20. The 6 off the die.
Brixby doesn't know what it is.
That was awful. Whatever that was. Don't know if we should follow it.
What happened? I didn't see anything.
There was like a skinless child that sort of like silent screamed before skittering away, all like horrifying.
It had glowing red eyes and it ran on all fours. Have you heard anything like that in the colony?
Maybe. Is that description enough to roll a planes on it?
Yeah, you can roll.
That is a 23, so not much higher than Zach. But is that enough to get anything?
So close. But I'm afraid that is not enough to identify this creature.
Yeah, 13 on the die, but my bonus is a little lower.
What about dark tapestry lore?
I'm afraid dark tapestry lore doesn't
I was gonna say, I
apply
don't
to-
think that sounds tapestry, yeah.
It sounds dark, but not tapestry.
Sounds like, I know we made the joke earlier, but it sounds like we need, like, knowledge creepypasta again for this one.
It's that kind of episode.
Yeah. Well, that is really disturbing.
I'm like,
She wants to be in the cast.
should we figure out what it is and why it's here? Like,
I am very curious, but Kira would be moderately curious. It looks like a child. Should we help that skinless child? He's definitely not running like a normal person.
I have the feeling that it's probably going to run us into a trap. But if we can operate with that knowledge, maybe. I assume anything we see here is evil. And I'm not just talking about my ex here, Sec.
Even if it's not evil, something the size and shape of a child would have to be very powerful to survive in this place, especially so close to where the Dominion are camped out. That could make it dangerous even if it's not evil, if it's something that might defend itself.
Then maybe we add it to the list of things we come back to. If it's still there.
It saw us is the only reason why I think we should go after it. It's probably going to make our life harder if it tells anyone that we're here. Or, yeah, it just ran away and it's a victim of the butchers. But the red eyes, not to assume, that just seems malevolent.
It didn't go towards the cave, so hopefully it's not on its way to warn them. But, like you said, it could be off to warn some other group that we might not even know about.
Can we sneak up on it? No, it's us. Erase that.
How fast was it moving? Is it something that, like, maybe we could chase down because it's a child that's running like Mowgli? Which actually could be really fast. Depending.
I saw Mithrigan.
It looks like it's running around the speed that you could travel on foot. Probably Levi is faster than it's moving, but it does have a few hundred feet on you.
Last time I perched towards anything on Levi, he got a crit to the face, and shortly thereafter died.
I don't think we should charge. I think we should follow at a distance.
Very well.
If Asuma thinks they can, like, hit it in, like, a terrifyingly accurate sniper shot from, like, 500 yards, then sure, go for it. But
I mean, I could probably hit it with the rocket launcher.
ooh,
Or at least I could hit close enough to it that it wouldn't matter.
That might alert the Dominion as to our location.
It probably would, yeah.
okay, let's just chase it. Let's just go. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'm cool. I don't know how other people feel. I'm cool with that thing being at least 100 feet in front of us. Like, we can see what it's doing. I mean, if we lose sight of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we can see it.
Yeah. If it seems like it's leading us, like, really far away, then I'd say maybe write it off for the moment. But it's definitely creepy. Like, I kind of don't want it behind us while we're going in the cave.
Yeah, I would agree. Or anything else that I could bring. So I think it's worth trying to keep it in sight. But so if we were following at like 100 feet, what does it do?
Well, as you follow it, about 100 feet behind it, and it is running away to the southwest, I'm going to bed. I don't know.
Oh. Good night, Skinless Sam.
Night, Skinless Sam, and your feral child van.
Night, Sam.
I'd say him.
Skinless or otherwise.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Pot Against the Machine is property of Network Against the Machine LLC, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are property of Abyssal Publishing. See their website for more details. Theme Against the Machine was written and performed by our own Zach. See the show notes for additional music and sound licensing. If you enjoyed the show, we encourage you to leave us a review.
Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that waits to open our bulging puckers until after you've...
Or what?
So close. And
I
now
don't
we
know
have
why
to
I
keep
do this
in.
to myself.
Victorian era drowning kit. Anybody ever see those?
No.
No. That's where the origin of the phrase blow smoke up your butt came from.
There was a pipe and bellows. Oh, Jesus.
Gallows.
It's literal first
Yeah, no,
thing
they're
that comes
horrifying.
up. An old-fashioned tobacco enema kit, complete with pipe and bellows, is the description.
Wait, that's actually, I thought you were making that up. That's the real description.
No, it is a real thing. They thought that if they rescued you from drowning, they could blow tobacco smoke up into you and save you.
Man.
Wow.
I wonder what weird, stupid beliefs we have now that we won't have in 30 years. I mean, I can think of a couple.
And maybe we'll double back to tobacco smoke butt.
Yeah, I think if I did anything other than scrolls, then buy them for like a third of the party's gold and then cut them into tiny bits of powder and rail them, because that is how I assume Brixby learns things. Just snorting them scrolls. Then
Page 376 of the core rulebook. Arcane tricksters consume scrolls by grinding them into powder and railing them. It's right there.
thanks, James Jacob.
Weirdly, it uses the word railing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, it depends. Like it depends on the level of the scroll.
It's true.
What adjective they use or what verb, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's like like level 9. It's like what, like insuffate? I'm trying to think about my most level 9 word for like. Mean what I think it means. It means to blow gas or air into the cavity of a body.
Oh.
Whoa, level
Well,
9
that's the
Arcane
opposite.
trickster is dope.
Oh yeah,
Now the ep title is Insuffate. Like spells.
Sawbones.
I do love that as a title for or like a name for a doctor as a nickname.
Bonesaw? Or bone crusher?
Bonesaw's ready to clap.
Sidney McElroy is ready.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Hang on.
One,
Sorry.
two.
Let me make sure I'm recording. I
Yep.
am. Okay, good. Sorry.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Clap.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. My cat keeps meowing directly into the microphone.